Hello and welcome back to Speculation Alley. My name is ABOMB, and as usual with me, my co-host, brother from another mother, Cryptodilly. What's going on, my man?
GM. How you doing today?
Good. Excited to get into this. This is going to be an interesting video, I'll say that. You want to start us off with sort of the recap as far as still knowing nothing about G-tags, then we'll get into the other stuff?
Yeah, let's run it. So there's been some more speculation, some new, ideas that have come to the forefront. I want to shout out Keegan and Modest. Teaching Tuesdays, we jumped on and we really kind of riffed on this topic. But what it was about, it's actually about, is this Reese character a protagonist or an antagonist within the storyline? And I think there's some different points that are really interesting. We were introduced to Reese back at NFT NYC in June. And there was a mysterious cloaked figure that was running around New Tokyo, handing out these tubes that I actually am starting to believe were propaganda. And the reason I say that they're propaganda is because what it is it's actually a figure basically tossing day packs into the fire with Wagmi-san standing in front, very angry and pointing into the fire. So with that piece of information, is Wagmi-san actually happy about this, or is he actually really angry about people burning these masterfully crafted items that he spent time creating? And so it leads me to believe that maybe Reese is actually an antagonist. At no point in the storyline leading up to this time has she crossed paths with Wind Moon or with Wagmi-san that has been presented to the public, right? And with that being, out in the forefront, you also have this burn king for PFP theory. And when you think about burning something, that was a cake that was actually given to Wagmi-san by Boss Toad, who has been historically an antagonist in the storyline. So you have all these different angles that play into it. And is that actually progressing Wagmi-san's narrative, or is it actually an antagonist in the storyline trying to deceive us? Right. And with deception, you also have this trait on the G tag, which is a crown. Right. So we have been led to believe this whole time that Genesis is king. And now you have this G tag that has the crown. And it's the perfect deception to create mystery and confusion, especially when Wagmi-san is not around. He's gone. Right. So this mysterious figure pops on the scene out of nowhere and is, convincing people to burn their most valuable and precious item. Right. So ABOMB, take it away. Let's hear it.
We're no longer Speculation Alley, bro. We are FUD Freeway now, okay? If you have a G tag, you're not going to make it, okay? No, I'm just joking with you. Obviously, it is very interesting. I love the perspective because I feel like a lot of people were really stuck on this concept of that, it's going to be for a PFP, it's going to be for land, it's going to be for this, it's going to be for that. But no one questioned really, except for, shout out to Modest, who's always questioning people, and that's what I love about him. Essentially, who is giving this to us, and who is this person, and why should we trust them? All great questions to ask, especially in Wagmi-san's world, New Tokyo, and more so, why didn't they just make it a Genesis, right? Why make it a crown? Why not just make it Genesis? Because at the end of the day, You could have done that. You could have put it as, this is Genesis. So, not to be full of fun, everyone, but who knows what the hell these G-tags are going to do. I just appreciate...
Well, I'll FUD the bags a little bit more because in the actual information guide on Discord, it says that certain materials and items can only be gained by Genesis, right? But the other side of that token, to kind of go on the pro G-tag side, is that within the description, it does say that these items will be used with tools and materials to advance Wagmi-san's goals, right? But I'm going at it from the angle that I think it's really important, and this is what I love about our show, is that Speculation Alley is all about, driving all these different perspectives and giving people a lot of information so they can make an educated decision on what they want to do, right? And if you guys are pro Genesis, keep your Genesis. If you're a pro G tag, get your G tag. If you want to create some arbitrage opportunities, go that way, right? There's a lot of that within the 10KTF ecosystem, which is super exciting. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, but just some interesting perspective to kind of add on the spin of the G tag conversation, especially because it's been so prevalent over the past couple weeks. But with that being said, let's dive into these trailers from 10KTF and Otherside. You want to talk about those for a minute?
Bro, it was nuts, wasn't it? Like, first of all, Otherside Meta, their Twitter, official Twitter, drops this in-game playing, like, visual that we can see where, and again, something interesting to think about of this is, like, if you're a streamer and you can control where the camera is and sort of tell the narrative how you see fit, huge shout-outs to the team that's building that. And obviously, the same land, we saw the same, like, skeleton there when Curtis, the Coda, and the Voyager were walking in. They see the shard there. But also, we see Wagmi-san's video, super dope, and this, like, Mad Max dune buggy thing, and he's pulling up to the same exact area, same skeleton that's there and all this other stuff, but he's, like, got something hooked to a chain in his dune buggy, and we didn't see what. But nuts, man, nuts. Give me your insight. What do you think?
I mean, ultimately, I think it's a really interesting video to watch because we had this tweet from Wagmi-san on December 8th that basically talked about we yearn for the times when we are young, and it actually has like the dune buggy in an old picture, right? Like a Polaroid, and then it's right next to a candle with the portrait of his cat, right? And viewing that and thinking about what that means, when you watch this video, it really kind of encapsulates that exact tweet, right? You have Wagmi-san, who is much younger, no wrinkles, right? Looking really crisp in that cinematic view. And he's pulling this chain in the dune buggy that is pictured, right? So what I was thinking when I first saw that trailer is, what timeline is this? I found it really interesting that Otherside Meta dropped their video first, and then 10KTF drops theirs just, right after. And within that, you have obviously the Coda, the Voyager, and Curtis walking into this structure, and they come across the shard. Some people are speculating that inside the shard is Wagmi-san's cat. I think there's some confirmation bias there. But with that being said, what is, Wagmi-san chained up to, and what's he trying to pull away? And what timeline is this happening on? Is this before they could stumble upon this with Curtis, or is this after? I'm in the belief that, this is actually Wagmi-san way early in the day at the same location. And then we are seeing the flashback or a forward progression in time whenever the Otherside Meta dropped their video, which is really interesting to think about, because what they did is they dropped the future video first and then the past video second, almost to like confuse us. But it's definitely the same plot of land that's being portrayed in the two videos, right? And so there's some more connections to the other side. It's just super fascinating to really dive deep into. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that stuck out to me is the tweet that you had mentioned previously, where we see a picture of the dune buggy that also is next to a picture of the cat, right? That had so we see Wagmi-san out in this like barren terrain. And first of all, I want to shout out, like, your assessment on the timeline is key. I was trying to figure that out as well, with sort of seeing if there was more sand or less sand on this skeleton in the video for either video, because then the one that had less sand would have been earlier on, obviously, because more time, more sand would have fallen onto it. But that being figured out, first of all, is, I think, key. Second piece is, what was Wagmi-san there for? Like, what is cause and effect? What's causing this individual to come to this land or this area? As you said, there's sort of this biased opinion of what we see in this the blue glow within this like fractured shard. We think it's a cat. It looks like a cat to me. I think it's Wagmi-san's cat. And I think that is the reason why he is there, is to potentially try to harness or, I don't know, control this power in some way, shape, or form, so that he can then bring his cat, his cat back to him, his friend. Because why would Wagmi-san travel to the ends of the earth and risk all this stuff, potentially his life or whatever, in some of these hazardous lands. Why would he risk that? And I think it would be for his cat. And it's interesting that. Please, no, go.
Oh, I was gonna say. I mean, what if you have Curtis, you have Coda, they're coming to this plot of land in search of something, right? We know that the lands are going to be the same, but you are going to be able to, within the other side, actually transport artifacts and these different things across lands, right? So if you buy a land that doesn't have a coda, you can transport it. This has been said, right? So what if this is actually a coda bottle that they've been searching for the coda bottle because Curtis drank all of his juice, right? And so now Dakota is bringing Curtis on this journey to come across this coda bottle that's encapsulated in the shard. But what if that flashback of the chain ripping with the dune buggy is actually when Wagmi-san found coda juice for the first time? What if that is, because the thing about Wagmi-san that's so mysterious is obviously he's been there before. He's definitely traveled, and I almost think it's like time travel. He's able to go, cross dimensional and travel through time, and almost like he has figured out how to harness this energy, right? So he, in experimenting with all this stuff and understanding that he's a master craftsman, and he's able to create a portal that takes you from reality to the metaverse through a portal to New Tokyo. Like, there's a lot of key concepts that throughout this journey lead me to believe that, perhaps Wagmi-san has actually stumbled across something much earlier and harnessed the power at a different stage. And the reason I say it's confirmation bias on the cat is because it's so easy to kind of speculate that and like put that there because of the frame picture of his cat and then the shard. So it's really hard to kind of disseminate that information and really think differently. But at the same time, I want to keep an open mind and take as many connecting points as I can, and then kind of move forward with our speculation. So, I mean, lots of interesting stuff this past week, though. I mean, do you have any other added components that you want to add in?
I mean, really, the only other thing I can think of is when we see the in-game, playing with the Voyager, the Coda, and Curtis. I think that could be relayed to the next part of the Codex, which is traveling to different lands. If this fragment were to burst open or something and create a portal that then leads them to another land or another sort of terrain, even in and of itself, that would be interesting to see that play out. But regardless, the closer that these ties are getting, that we see Wagmi-san on the other side with his dune buggy, and he's doing something. And as you've said, he's been there before. He's sort of aware of this world. It's just getting nuts, man. It's really, to me, it's getting where people said batshit crazy. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, and the thing is Wagmi-san knows what he's doing, right? Like, this is a Polaroid picture that he has posted up on his shrine. That means that he's been there, done that, right? And the storyline for Curtis and all this is happening now. They're just now discovering these lands. Wagmi-san's been there, bro. He's just that's my past. So, it's just really, it's cool to see this kind of unravel. And I'm very curious to hear and see what people's comments below are on what this shard is. Is it Wagmi-san's cat? Is it a certain artifact within the other deeds, right? I haven't been able to stumble across anything that resembles it, but definitely leave the comment below. Let us know any information that we're missing. And I'm curious if you think that maybe it's a coda bottle, cat, whatever, right? And yeah, I mean, with all the information that's coming out, I'm just super excited with everything 10KTF. Definitely check out our other previous videos. If you're new to the project and this is the first video you're watching, we definitely flooded some G tags today, but it's definitely necessary to really have all perspectives. So check out our previous videos, like and subscribe to our channel. And we always do a Twitter Space live every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. Or is it 5 p.m.? PST. I can't even think right now.
I
I think
believe
it's 5 p.m. PST.
Yeah.
And we dive into the same subject that we're talking about here. So definitely join us on that. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. We'll see you then.